Sit down, wherever you can. Whoever has their seat, sit down. I'm very honored. Don't worry, you'll be standing up soon. You know, speaking of standing up behind me, you see them. These are incredible women. I don't know about the husbands. I don't know what's wrong with the husbands because, well, this is, I think it's about the 115th time. And they come from a place that's not too far away. You do like North Carolina, right? They come from North Carolina, so you know they travel to Texas, California. Oh, then they are. There's some more over here. There's a husband. Finally, I see a husband. But these women are unbelievable. They love our country, and at least for this one, they didn't have to travel very far. So that's very nice. And then over here we have Front Row Joe's. I think it's 125. I don't know what they do. I know they're rich. But I don't know what they do, but we love all of you. You're great American patriots. Thank you. And by the way, the Vietnamese delegation, I don't know what it is about Vietnam, but they do like me. Thank you very much. Thank you. And we like them. Thank you. They travel with me all over. You know, I must be too soft on Vietnam because you like me too much. You like me too much. Thank you very much. I agree. They want freedom, that's right. Under Biden, gas prices have reached $5, $6, and even $7 a gallon in some places. In California, they've gone up to $8 and $9. 3 years ago, under my leadership, we had energy independence, and we were soon going to have energy dominance. All over the world, we're going to be dominant. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country. Think of it. And we don't know what we're doing with it. I had gas prices at $1.87 a gallon. Wouldn't that be nice? Thanks to Bidenomics, the 3-year mortgage rate has hit a 22-year high, with the average mortgage payment at a brutal $3,322 a month. Nobody's ever had, they've never had numbers like that. When I was president, the average monthly mortgage rate was nearly 50% less. In fact, we had numbers at 2%. We had a period of time at 2%, and it never appeared much from that. You were saving $19,000 a year on your mortgage. And while Crooked Joe likes to brag about the stock market is up just a small percentage after you deduct and adjust for inflation, which is setting records. What we're doing with inflation. And by the way, after the election, and we can't say this because much bigger problems, the country will be destroyed if we don't win this election. But if perchance they won, you will see numbers on energy, the likes of which you've never seen before. They are doing, you know, they're pumping it as much as they can under the Trump. They're saying, keep it going, let them keep going. If this election ended as a failed election or a rigged election, and I say the only way it can end when they win is a rigged election, because what they did in 2020 is disgraceful. And look what happened. Look what happened to our country. You have wars that never would have taken place. Russia would have never attacked Ukraine. Israel would have never been attacked. You wouldn't have had inflation. It was all caused by the energy. But by contrast, under my leadership, the stock market was up by an astounding 62%, with inflation almost at zero, 62%. With your vote, we will vanquish Bidenomics, which is a very negative term. You know, he heard the term, he loved it. Oh, that's good. No, that's a really big term. It didn't work. And we will reinstate Maganomics. You guessed it. And we will bring our country back from hell. Our country has been through hell. When you think about what happened in Afghanistan, all the things that took place, our country's been through hell. We're laughed at all over the world. Crooked Joe is now pushing a $6 trillion tax hike. $6 trillion. This will be the largest tax hike in the history of our country, maybe in the history of the world, I guess. And if he wins, that's what's in store for the hardworking people of South Carolina, a wonderful state that we work so closely with Henry and everybody. And we had it to a level that it's never seen before. And now it's never going to be quite like that. It can't be, but it's just going off. You know, the stock market is up. Many people, some of the smartest people in the market say it's up because we're leading Biden in the polls by so much, and they expect that we're going to win. If we lose, you're going to have a crash like you would today. If we lose, that's an incentive if you have stock. If we have a tragedy happen on November 5th, it would be a tragedy. In the opinion of many, and in my opinion, you will have the largest stock market crash we've ever had, because a lot of the stock market, because the only thing that's doing well is the stock market, and it's doing well because the polls are all showing that we're winning by a lot. So we gotta make sure we win. And if we win, you're all getting the biggest tax cuts because we're doing additional cuts and a brand new economic boom, a boom like we've never seen before, not even in our great 4 years. When I was president, we slashed taxes for working families. We doubled the child tax credit. Not a very Republican thing to do, but I said, let's do it anyway. That was something that we wanted to do, and people are very happy about it. The mothers, the families, they're very happy. We did something that we really felt we should do, and we supported moms and dads by dramatically expanding education savings accounts, which is a big deal. Use them. Under my leadership, the Republican Party will always support the creation of strong, thriving, healthy American families. We're supporting America first. We don't think all America. We want to make it easier for mothers and fathers to have babies, not harder. You know that. That includes, and you saw this, it was a big deal over the last few days, that includes supporting the availability of fertility treatments like IVF in every state in America. You've been seeing Alabama. It's been a big story, like the overwhelming majority of Americans, including the vast majority of Republican, conservatives, Christians, and pro-life Americans. I strongly support the availability of IVF for couples who are trying to have a precious little beautiful baby. I support it. And today I'm calling on the Alabama legislature to act quickly to find an immediate solution to preserve the availability of IVF in Alabama, and I'm sure they're going to do that. The Republican Party should always be on the side of the miracle of life and the side of mothers and fathers and beautiful little babies. IVF is an important part of that, and our great Republican Party will always be with you. We're always going to be with you in your quest to find that ultimate joy in life. You know, the ultimate joy in life is a beautiful, healthy, wonderful baby. So we are with you, and I wanted you to know that. And a lot of Republicans call me. I put that message out on a thing called Truth Social. Has anybody been tuning in yet? Hot. Truth Social is hot. But we put it out a little while ago, and a lot of people called up, a lot of politicians called up. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And that's the way we feel. So we're going to be with you all the way, and you're going to see things. We want to help. I mean, it's a very big subject, frankly, very complicated and very big, but we're with you all the way, and I think there are a lot of happy people in this room. Most of you know exactly what I'm talking about, but thank you. Most of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Crooked Joe Biden is not the only massive tax hiker in this race. You also have a person, she's so bad. She said, I will never run against our president. He has been a great president. He is one of the greatest presidents ever. I will never run, I promise you. I will never ever run. 3 years later, how about that? 3 years later, she goes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm deciding to run now. You ever see the clips? We have about 12 clips. I will never run against that president. He's one of the greatest presidents ever. A little bit later, no, don't use the name Bergman, that's not. Please, madam, don't use the name Bergman. No, we got to win this. We have to win big. We have to show, again, supported by the Democrats. Supported and funded by the Democrats. Republicans aren't supporting her.
It's a diverse chat.
They don't like her policy. She's essentially a Democrat.
You guys just fight amongst each other in the chat.
Probably she should switch. But you have a Nikki Haley who tried to double your gas tax here in South Carolina. Remember, she said that's not true. But then we put up clips. No, she tried very hard. And she also supports a 23% national sales tax, which basically equals election death. You know what that is, right? You can't get elected when this stuff comes out. And you think they treat me bad, and they do. They're horrible people. These people are sick. They're sick. I've been indicted more than Alphonse Capone, the great guy. I got indicted. My parents are looking down. They say, I never thought this could happen to my son. He's been indicted. I didn't know what the hell the word is that, and it all took place instantly. If I fly over a blue state, the next day I get a federal grand jury notice. And they indicted me on bullshit. It's all bullshit.
It is sad. Well, check out Marianne Williamson and Dean Phillips.
But remember, if any other person were in this position, they'd be treated the same way as they treated me. I don't think that's harsh. I think that's really more than anybody that's ever lived. It's all because we won an election, 2016, that we weren't expected to win. Now, I expected to win it, all of you expected. We'd go to rallies with a 50,000, 52,000, 68,000. 101,000. We had a rally, and they'd go to rally and they'd have like in the case of Biden, he'd have 8 circles, beautiful. And they'd have to use the media to stand there because they had no people. And then you hear, oh, they won just by a little bit. They just outs us out. No, it's a crooked deal. But Nikki Haley, if she were ever in this position, they'd go after her. I could tell you about 5 reasons right now, but I don't want to get myself in trouble. They'll say, he's so mean. He's so mean. Oh, there are some reasons. I think everybody in your state knows some beautiful reasons. They would go after her the same way they go after me. That's what they do. Because they're basically a party of misinformation, disinformation. They lie, and they say it like Russia. Took me 2.5 years to get that one off my back. That was a real crooked deal. They used that as an excuse. Why beautiful Hillary? Beautiful. Because I've taken the name Crooked Hillary off, I've given it to Biden. Because I had Sleepy Joe Biden, I have Crooked Joe Biden. I think Crooked Joe is more accurate. Although Sleepy. Nikki Haley is not in this race to fight for you. She's in the bidding for big donors, or maybe she wants to get a contractor on CNN. Did you see their ratings? Uh-oh, there go the CNN cameras off. I shouldn't have done that. The light just went off. They knew what was coming, right, Tim? They knew what was coming. Now they have the worst ratings they've ever had. The thing is dying. You know why? Because they're not truthful. They're not truthful. They're really... By the way, did Tim Scott make a great speech? I don't know if he likes it when I say this, but it's so meant as such a compliment because he's such a fine man. He ran, and he ran okay. He was okay. He was a respected guy, but he ran, and he did fine. And then when he got out, he endorsed me, and he's a surrogate. He's the greatest surrogate I've ever seen. This guy went from a modest, high-quality man introducing his mother, who's incredible, by the way. But I said, Tim, I called him up. He took everybody. He had like 5 of the worst human beings interviewing him, trying to hit me. He said, Donald Trump did this, he did that, he did criminal justice reform, he did the... And by the time he finished with it, they just wanted to get off the set. And I said, he's a much better representative for me than he is a representative for himself. And it's true. And that's a great compliment. And you know why? Because he's a high-quality person. He doesn't like talking about himself.
There's Tim Scott. You can see him.
You know, Nikki, she loses to Biden in virtually every poll. She has one poll that's so old now that the paper is turning, and nobody ever heard of the poll. She loses to Biden in all the polls. But forget that. This guy, Howard, again, he's far more interesting. So, we won Iowa in a landslide in a record, the likes of which has never been seen. In fact, we took the record and they doubled it. We won by that margin. We then went to New Hampshire. We got more votes than anybody in the history of New Hampshire. The New Hampshire. They've been around a long time. And I heard Nikki today said, yeah, I lost 2. No, she lost 4. Because she lost the Virgin Islands, which she tried like hell to get. We won that too. A lot of people don't know that. But then we went to Nevada, and she was campaigning against candidate unknown. It was candidate unknown was me, because I was in the caucus, not in the primary. She should have been in the caucus too, but she didn't want to be because of the poll numbers, which were terrible. I got 99.6% of the vote. 99. And then in the primary, the candidate unknown, which probably I think people thought I was the candidate unknown, beat her by 60%. But she said she only lost 2, but that's, and she's going to have a very bad day tomorrow.
Layla Trump rally.
She's not a nice person.
Just covering it.
But we were in Iowa and then in New Hampshire, and I saw we had a big arena like this, and I heard the people going crazy, and I heard some guy screaming, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. I said, who's that? They said, it's Tim Scott. I said, that guy's unbelievable. So anyway, but we love Tim Scott, and you're lucky to have him in this room.
We talk about Tim a lot. Let's see if we can zoom in on Tim.
Thank you. It's a great honor.
He's on the left,
It's a great honor.
next to Nancy
That was
Mace.
one of the fewest persons I wanted to get. And we did get it, and it's a great honor to have it, and we appreciate it. And he did a good job today also, by the way, because I heard that one too. So, Nikki's gone, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I guess I have an obligation. I mean, we have an election tomorrow. Front row Joes, I have to at least mention for a couple of seconds, right? Then we're going to get on to more important things like how to make America great again, okay? But Nikki has actually gone very far left. She's very rude, you know. I don't like to say that, but she's very rude. But because of her Democrat donors, she's working for Democrat donors, and all she's trying to do is inflict pain on us so they can win in November. We're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let it happen. And she's not really attacking me. She's really attacking the Republican Party, and that's not a good thing to do. So a vote for Nikki Haley tomorrow is a vote for Joe Biden this November. That's all you're doing, is you're voting for crooked Joe Biden. A vote for Trump is a vote to fire crooked Joe and put America first and make America great again. And the reason they're fighting so hard for Nikki is that the radical left Democrats want Nikki Haley because they know she's easy to beat, and all the polls are showing that. She's the easiest one to beat. She's much easier than Tim would have been. She's much easier than many of our good Republican candidates would have been. She wants to gut Medicare and Social Security. You know, she wants to raise the retirement age of Social Security and she can deny it all she wants, but she wants to raise it by 10 years. And she gave land away to China, and in the recent amnesty bill, Nikki sided with Joe Biden and the open borders maniacs, while I sided with the American people. I like that much better. And as I told you before, or at least indicated, I gave her the job at the United Nations 90% for one reason, because I wanted that man, Henry McMaster, and maybe more importantly, his wife, Peggy, to be the governor and first lady of the great state of South Carolina. And they have been unbelievable. They have been unbelievable.
Yeah, a lot of hats, guys.
And just in finalizing it out, but this, because this is kryptonite, Mitt Romney is kryptonite. You know, a certain senator, a very, very good senator, I'll mention names, but I backed him and he took a tremendous lead. And then time went by, and 3 months later I said, by the way, how's he doing in certain great state? And they said, sir, he's up by 40. And then 40 points, that's a lot. That means it's over. And then a month went by, I said, everything okay out there? No, sir, yes, he's actually down by 2 points. I said, he lost 42 points? What happened? Well, people said he was friends with Mitt Romney. I said, Mitt Romney is kryptonite. You can't be friends with him. So I found out it wasn't true, and I went on a rampage. And we ended up getting him elected. He won quite easily. We had to convince people that he was not friends with Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is a disaster for the Republican Party, and now he's gone. You know, we're getting rid of a lot of these people. And you remember the clip?
No, let the haters
when she
be.
was at a podium,
Let us argue
and
amongst
she
each other.
actually
That's the
was
fun of my
with
YouTube.
Romney and somebody named, I'm sure you
It's the
have
only
heard of
YouTube where
Barack
half the
Hussein.
watchers hate Trump and half the watchers love Trump. So argue amongst yourself.
Barack Hussein. You ever hear, remember Rush? Rush Limbaugh, the great Rush, can never be replaced.
Oh, Lord.
Sean Hannity told me that he can never be replaced, Rush Limbaugh. But he used to talk about Obama. He wasn't too friendly to Obama. But he'd always introduce him, ladies and gentlemen, Barack Hussein.
Oh, come on.
He would scream that middle name out. And we do this Rush, don't we? We gave him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, right? Mr. Wall over there, stand up. The nicest suit I think I've ever seen. Remember, I've done 571 miles of wall, and we were gonna, that's far more than I said. We had the safest border in history, now we have the worst border in history, but every time I look, he's at a lot. What number is this for you? We love you, man. It's great. It's in the hundreds, I believe. It's a lot. And he's probably like a very successful professional guy. I'm going to find out. But we have fun. Like these guys come to football
Guys,
games,
please
they're
subscribe.
solid citizens, and then they come out and, you know,
I'll kill
gear
you.
and names all over the football. I say, what's going on? But in his case, he's not rooting for a team of football players. He's rooting for America, right? So if you want a president who puts America first and defeat Nikki Haley, you gotta go out and vote. Gotta send the signal tomorrow. Gotta get up, gotta vote. Fire Crooked Joe and elect your favorite president, Donald J. Trump. That's me. Thank you. It's a hell of a nice arena. This is big. Upon taking office, I will end Joe Biden's war on American energy, cancel his ban on exporting American natural gas, and we will quite simply drill, baby, drill. I will revoke China's most favored nation's trade status, and we will impose stiff penalties on China and other trade abusers. They are a tremendous trade abuser. We get along with them very well. They're tremendous abusers. Remember this, No other president did nothing to China. They would walk away with $509 billion a year. It was just a terrible. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs from China. We will once again live by the maxim of the Trump administration: buy America
RFK Jr.
and
is for
hire
I'll do it for you.
America.
That's right. Trump the GOAT! That's
To
right.
protect South Carolina workers, I will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. You know what that is, right? If China or any other country makes us pay a tariff of, let's say, 100 or 200 or even 300%, and they do that, we will make them pay a reciprocal, identical tariff of 100 or 200
Thank you.
or 300%.
Appreciate that. It's all for you review. Review this. Very kind. Thank you.
It's called You Screw Us and We Screw You.
Sounds like my dating life.
As tariffs on foreign countries go up, taxes on American workers and families will come down very substantially. You know, last night I was making a speech in a very nice area. I was going, and we were in Tennessee, and a man came up to me. He owned a big metal company, collects metal and manufactures metal. And he had tears in his eyes, strong guy. You can see he's lifted plenty of steel. But he came up to me and he said, "Sir, I just want to thank you. You saved my life, you saved my company. My company was ready to die in 2016, and then you put up those tariffs on China steel. They were dumping steel all over the place. I was dying. All the steel companies were dying." Wow. She must be in the steel business. But he said what you did was so incredible. And I saw him in the audience when I was speaking. That was before. And I said, "Well, you want to come up here?" He said, "Yeah." And he got up and he was in tears. He said, "What you did with the tariffs, I put a 25 and 50% tariff on steel coming in, and it totally saved his company, saved the industry, and a lot of other things. A lot of very good things happened because they want to put you out of business, and then they want to have a monopoly on steel and lots of other things." It's no wonder Joe Biden and his thugs are so desperate to stop us. They know that we are the only ones who can stop them, and they know that. That's why they are weaponizing law enforcement for high-level election interference. That's what they're doing right now. It's called, look at Fani, F-A-N-I. It should be pronounced Fanny. Fani. They say she gets very upset if you call her Fanny. F-A-N-I. She fell in love with the person that long before this started. He got paid almost $1 million. He never did it before. They love to talk about disinformation and democracy. They talk about disinformation. They talk about threat to democracy. But they're the threat to democracy. They use the DOJ, the FBI, our election systems. They rig our elections and attack free speech. Isn't it amazing? All the people that go and get investigated, all of them, they don't go after the people that rigged the election. They go after the people that want to find out who it was that rigged the election. It should be the opposite way. We're not going to put up with it. Joe Biden and the fascists that control.
Stay on the feed. If you dislike Trump, you can comment too. If you love Trump, you can comment. My YouTube is half Trump supporters and half Trump haters. So
is only
stay on the
happening
feed.
because I am running for president and leading very substantially in the polls. Now, if I wasn't running, again, cases coming out of nowhere, all run by DOJ.
Poop emojis are fine.
Even a DA case, local DA case, they put the DOJ top people into the local DA's office in Manhattan on a case that's absolutely, in fact, every critic and every legal scholar said, it's not a case. There's no case here. But they put DOJ people in there. It's weaponization. And you know, at least I have a voice, I can speak about it. And the poll numbers go up because when people hear about it, they say, wow, never been done in this country like that before. But if they hit a congressman, or if they hit even a senator where you don't have that voice, where you can stand up and discuss it with millions and millions of people, they will leave office. They will go back home to their family. They'll make a speech that I will fight for my name. I will fight for my name. I will go home to my family. And you never hear from the person again. It's never been where you get hit with something like this and you go up in the polls. Usually when you get hit, if a regular, good, strong, wonderful politician got hit with a federal subpoena or a state subpoena or any of these subpoenas, it doesn't matter whether they're innocent or guilty. They have to resign from office in disgrace. They have to. With me, I got hit and my numbers went up. I am sort of freaking. And I don't mean went up, I mean went up a lot. Because people get it. They see it's a scam. It's only been done in third world countries and banana republics. It's never taken place here. Never like this. But it's okay. I have so many lawyers. Lawyers are my best friend. And you know what I do? I campaign in the day when I can, and when I can't, I campaign at night. I go to courtrooms, and we're doing very well. We're doing very well. It's all a big scam. The big fat scam. In the latest morning console poll, we're at 81% in the Republican primary, and we're dominating Crooked Joe in the general election. We have a poll where we're at 91 for me, 7 for Nikki. I guess you have a couple of points undecided. But who are the people that are undecided? We have one of the biggest and largest margins ever. You know, it's tough. A Republican has a tougher path, actually, because the Democrats, like a friend of mine called up, he said, I see you're up 11 points, Washington Post, 11 points on Joe Biden. He's not a political person, but he's a very smart person, a lot of money, very successful. He said, how come you're only up 11 points? You should be up like 40 or 50 points. The guy can't put two sentences together. He can't walk off the stage, can't find the stairs. They're all over the place. He can't find stairs. So this guy, being a novelist, said, how come it is, why is it that you're only up 11, sir? I said, you know what? You don't know much about politics. We'll take it. In fact, our lead against Biden is the largest that we've ever had at 6 and 7 and 9, 10, 11, and we have won at 14 points. That's a lot.
No problem.
The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020. They rigged the presidential election, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election.
Still hanging on to this. Not a smart strategy. Let it go. If I were a consultant, I'd be saying, Trump, just let it go, man. Talk about the border. Let it go. But he's not. And this is the moment where he might be killing himself. Plenty to argue in favor of your campaign. That stuff, not going to sell.
Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it actually a great badge of honor. That's a little different thinking up there, isn't it? But it is what it is. I'm being indicted for you. That's what's happened. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom, because I will never let them take away your freedom. I will never let them. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me. They're after you. I just happen to be standing in their way. Thank you. So we're delighted to be joined by some incredible people, and people I talk about all the time, so I don't have to go through a big deal here, because it's your favorite governor, Henry McMaster, and First Lady Peggy.
Nancy Mace is back there, smoke show.
And Tim Scott, I want to thank you, Tim. I love Tim. We know that. Lieutenant Governor Pamela Abbott. Thank you, Pamela. We have a lot of members in Congress and from Congress here. Some are in the audience, and I'm a little bit, I'm going to get in trouble because I won't be able, I don't know where the hell they are. But wait, I do know some of them. One is Mike Collins. Mike, wherever you may be, thank you very much. Thanks, Mike. Great job you're doing. A superstar with a tremendous future, Byron Donalds.
Next Vice President. think he might be the pick. He'd be a smart pick.
A man that
It's all these vice presidents running against each other, sitting next to each other. There's Marjorie Taylor Greene, if you could see her. There's Byron standing up. He has to stop bringing Marjorie Taylor Greene to his events, man.
Thank you. They like that guy. Thank you very much. Thank you. You ever see crowds like this? A man that I sort of recruited, a particular congressman voted to impeach me. They're all just about gone now, just about over and they're gone. Whatever happened to Liz Cheney? Where is she? What did she? Was that Trump derangement? That committee was a rigged deal, but did you ever see anybody like her? She had a massive case of Trump derangement syndrome. But a man, he voted to impeach me, and you know, when people vote to impeach, that's sort of the ultimate. You can vote every once in a while against education, you can vote against something, you can vote against tax hikes or
Winthrop College, Coliseum.
But when they vote to impeach you, there's nothing you can ever do to recover
Yeah,
from
sorry,
that.
soldier.
We're never going to
I
be
will.
with them. And this guy, out of the blue, in an area that was plus 28, Trump plus 28, he brilliantly, would he like to have that vote back? He brilliantly said, no, I want to impeach Trump for nothing, for a perfect phone call. Perfect phone call. Made a call. It has turned out to be a perfect call. You know that. Everybody now says, oh, we should have never done it. Anyway, so I said, who's somebody good to run against them? And they said, well, there's a really popular guy in town who's in politics and doing really well. He's a leader. His name is Russell Fry. I said, oh. And I called him up, and I said, I heard you're doing well. Yes, sir, I am. How would you like to run for Congress? I gave him about a 1 minute. How long did that interview last?
Yes,
About
it's right
20
now.
seconds on the phone.
I'm here.
I said, well, I hear you great. Why don't you run? And then he had to go and prove his stuff, right? And he really proved himself.
Close to
And
Trump,
I
see?
just appreciate it. Russell, you've
That's how
been
close I am.
incredible, doing a great job. You wiped that guy out. He actually, at the
These are his
time,
comments.
won by the biggest margin in the history of Congress. There's never been somebody that lost a big, because usually if somebody's going to lose that big, a sitting congressperson, they usually drop out before the election. He didn't drop out, only to be surpassed by Liz Cheney. She lost by the biggest, Liz Cheney lost by the biggest margin, so you only had that title for about 11 months, right? You've done a great job. Thank you very much. A woman who is extremely shy, but a woman who stands up. I will tell you, she's a fighter. I know about that.
Sorry,
She's a
Nancy
fighter.
Mace.
And when you get her on your side, you're both lucky and smart. And she really has. She's been a real good fighter for us, and she's somebody who's done a very good job. And I'm very honored that she's here, and she's been to a couple of our rallies. And she does. When she sets her sight on something, she's tough. And that's what we want, Nancy Mace. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Great job. Now, a really shy person, a person that, I mean, honestly, she's a good person. She's been with me for so long. She's been with me in good times and bad times. If times are bad, she'll call me up and say, don't worry about it, sir, you're doing great. And if times are good, she'll call me up twice.
Not his wife.
But
he's
she's a
talking about.
fantastic person. She's a very smart person and very respected in Congress. A lot of people don't know how respected she is. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Called it. Called it. Yeah, you think you'd want to say that about your wife and not Marjorie Greene, but, you know, there she is. There's a lot of
That's
gas.
good, right? That's good. Great person. Another warrior that's with you and very successful, William Timmons. Thank you, William. It's great. And a man who became famous one night during the State of the Union, when he stood up, he said, "You lie." You remember? I'm sure nobody remembers that, but I do. He is one of the most incredible people for a lot of reasons, including the fact that Alan Wilson is his son. Alan Wilson, stand up, and Joe Wilson, stand up. Thank you. Look at it. Look how they get along. Look at it. Two great people. Thank you both. Thank you.
You want to see the crowd?
A great family. State Treasurer Curtis
Some
Walters.
empty seats.
Curtis, thank you very much.
Just so
Thank
you know,
very much.
it's not completely filled, but pretty nicely.
And somebody that's done an incredible job in North Carolina with all the theft and all the cheating and everything else. In Pennsylvania, I was leading by so many, it was over 73% of the vote, and all of a sudden, there was this big dump. Where did it come from? And they said, oh, you're no longer leading, you're tied, and then it went on, and it was disgraceful what happened. And likewise other states, but in North Carolina, that lead never wavered. It just kept going on and on and on. I said, why isn't it happening in North Carolina? Oh, that's right, you have a lot of friends here from North Carolina. Why isn't it happening? And it didn't happen because of his leadership. He was the head of the North Carolina Republican Party, and he's going to be the head of the Republican Party of our whole beautiful,
It's a big announcement.
incredible country. He was tough, he was smart, he was strong, he was respected. He understands voter fraud probably better than anybody. Michael Whatley, North Carolina. Thank you. I said to Michael, I said, we don't need any votes. All we have to do is guard the vote. You know, guard the vote. And I don't mean vote early, vote late. I don't mean vote on Tuesday or vote 2 weeks. That's all fine. I mean, we don't want ballots being dropped that are fake. We call them counterfeit ballots. That's what we don't want. And he'll stop it. Thank you very much, Michael. He's the best guy there is. Very important. That's an important guy. It is true. I told him, don't worry about the votes. We got all the votes. We got so many votes. We have millions more votes than the other side. Not even close. Just watch if they don't drop ballots. From the very first day that we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden, I believe we are going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. In our first term, we appointed over 300 federal judges, a record, and 3 great Supreme Court justices. Our incredible veterans, what we did for the veterans was, you know, we had a 92% approval rating for the vets. Now they're down into the 40s again. They were in the 40s for years. 92 because we passed 2 things, the VA Accountability Act and VA Choice. Accountability. We fired 9,000 sadists, thieves, crooks, wise guys. They hated our veterans. They would beat up our veterans in not prime time. They could never have done it in prime time. But they say this, we had 9,000 people, and because of the civil service laws, you couldn't even think about firing. We had somebody in one of our places that got caught stealing $400,000. Caught cold, you couldn't fire them, they were protected. We got that done. They've been trying to do it for 52 years, and we got it done. We fired 9,000 people and replaced them with people that love our vets. And the other is choice. We were having people stand on line sometimes for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. You know, we have great doctors in the VA, but a lot of administration problems they had. And people were going online, not very sick, and by the time they saw a doctor, they became terminally ill. Literally, things that could have been fixed, they became terminally ill. And we did a choice, which they've been trying to do for 52, 53 years. They couldn't get it passed in Congress. And I got it passed in Congress, VA Choice, where if you have to wait more than 24 hours, you go to private doctors in the community. We pay the bill, you get better. And we actually, I mean, I didn't do it for this reason, but we actually saved a lot of money, but we saved a lot of lives. A lot of lives. Saved a lot of lives. We fully rebuilt the U.S. military and created Space Force, which was a big deal. When I did that, remember, people were smiling. Russia and China were killing us in space, and now we're by far the leader in space. That was a big deal. Hadn't been done in 78 years. Last one was Air Force. 78 years. It was a great achievement. And I was the first president in decades who started no new wars. Instead, I brought back our troops. We knocked out.
It goes on and on.
You do remember, though, we defeated ISIS.
Phone's about to die, guys.
I think
we got 20 minutes left.
Bring them home. Hillary Clinton used to say in the debates, look at him, that personality. Look at that person. He's going to get us into a war. No, my personality kept us out of wars. You would have Russia. You would have never had the problem that you just had, the horrible problem where Israel, October 7th, where Israel was so horribly attacked. These things wouldn't have happened because they respected me, but they respected our country. Now they laugh at our president. They laugh at him. The guy can't talk. The guy can't walk. Remember when he said, I'd like to take him behind the bar. And the fake news, see the fake news? Oh, look at all those guys. The fake news said,
You don't seem to mind it.
Remember that?
You're used to it.
He said, I want to take him behind the bar. I'm going to take him. And the fake news said, isn't that nice? Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. It said he wants to take him behind the bar. In other words, wants to take me behind the bar and go. And the fake news is saying it's wonderful. Then when I said, let him take me behind the bar, I hit him. So they said, oh, that's terrible. He's a fascist. Trump is a fascist. Now, if I ever did, if we were ever behind the barn, I would look at him and I'd go like this.
Yeah. So funny. Violent. Laugh of violence. This is right now.
Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we, not me, we win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. I will get this settled. People die by the thousands. Horrible thing. Under the Trump administration, we will return to peace through strength. That's what we have. They respected us all over the world. 3 years ago, we had the most secure border in U.S. history. We ended catch and release, built 571 miles of border wall, and got Mexico to send 28,000 soldiers to our border free of charge. You think that was easy to get Mexico to give us 28,000 soldiers? Free. I got them to give a lot. There was no mechanism. Remember I used to say we'll get Mexico to pay for a big portion of the wall. Well, this cost them more money than the wall. And it wasn't easy, but I said, if you don't do it, we're going to put tariffs on all your cars. We're going to do numbers on you like you wouldn't believe. Sir, we would love to send you 28,000 people. Under Biden, we now have the worst border in the history of the world. No one has been hurt by this invasion more than our black and Hispanic populations have also been. They're taking your jobs, they're taking your slots on education. Black and Hispanic populations have been hurt more by this travesty where millions of people, the number is really going to be 18 million people by the time this guy gets out of office. And you know who else is being hurt very badly? The unions. The unions are being hurt very badly because you have unions that have justifiably, over the years and years, people have worked there and they're earning good wages, sometimes very high wages. People aren't going to be paying 3, 4, 5 times when they can have this. Unions are going to be put out of business. So I don't know how a union can support a guy like Joe Biden. You can't support him. First of all, I don't even think he knows that people are coming in. You want to know the truth? The other day he said, we're thinking about doing something about strengthening up our border. It's about time. We got like 14 million people have come in. But no, I think that's all baked in the cake. That's all baked in. It's not, they're actually, they are good. I have to, they're trying to say, it's the Republicans' fault. You know what they do? Over and over. It's the Republicans. I saw it the other day, first time. Like Russia. I don't know anything about Russia, other than I charged them for Nord Stream 2, and I stopped their pipeline. The biggest thing they ever had. And then they say, Trump loves Russia. Putin said to me, if you're really, I mean, they say that, I'd hate like hell to have you as an enemy if you're supposed to be a friend of mine, because nobody, I stopped the pipeline, Nord Stream 2, going to take care of Germany and all of Europe. I ended it. And then what happened? Joe Biden comes in and he approved it. He approved their pipeline, but he closed down the Keystone pipeline. How do you like that one? And then they say, Trump loves Russia. No, I was the worst thing in the sanctions I put on Russia. I was the worst thing that ever happened, but I did get along with Putin. It's a good thing. You know, getting along with these people is a good thing, not a bad thing. But nobody.
Great track record.
We have nuclear powers. They're a nuclear power. We're a nuclear power. The problem is, we're nuclear powers. You have a number of countries that have massive nuclear capability, and we have a man that is unable to understand it or talk to people or know how to talk to people. If you look at his rhetoric before Russia going into Ukraine, you would say he's saying the exact opposite of what he should be saying. The exact opposite of what. And he has done a horrible job. He is the worst president in the history of our country. There has never been a president.
People leaving, they're like, this is just going on too long.
You know, just to go off for 1 second, I never spoke about him that way because I have too much respect for the office of the presidency. I have great respect for the office of the president. Thank you, Joe. But I have great respect for the office of the president. Too much, maybe when certain people are in there that shouldn't be in there. But I never spoke the way I spoke now. But when I got indicted over nothing, over, actually, if you think about it, over being right, I was right about that. The call to Zelensky was a perfect call. In fact, I respect Zelensky for saying that was an absolutely perfect call. There was no threat, there was no anything. Remember, quid pro quo? They didn't know the tape was, the call was taped. Remember when Schiff went out 8 times quid pro quo? And then when they heard the tape, he just sort of disappeared for a little while. What a sleazebag that guy is. Shifty out of Schiff. And he could end up being a senator. This guy is a disgrace. He's a disgrace. But you know what? I never spoke very badly. I never spoke like this. Now I say, but when that happened, and then again I get indicted on something else, and and then I realize I've been indicted more than Alphonse Capone, and I say,
You already said that.
and other lawsuits,
There was 3
civil
times.
lawsuits, all worked out
Alphonse, I've been indicted more than Capone.
horrible
I get it.
group of people. But when I got indicted, just for the first time, I got indicted, and even the press said, you'll never be indicted. You'll
No,
never
this
be
is
indicted
live.
over January 6th because
Nerdy.
you never did
I'm not
it.
gonna
The
say
press
your
will
name.
say that. And they indicted
What
me.
nerdy?
Then I said, okay,
It's
well,
live.
now I'm allowed to talk the facts. He is the worst and most incompetent and most corrupt president in history. The only one that loves him is Jimmy Carter, because Jimmy Carter's administration, by comparison, looks brilliant. It looks brilliant.
I've never heard that.
Jimmy Carter had a brilliant administration compared to Biden. He's the most corrupt president, most incompetent president.
Wicked.
I would never
White
have said that,
sweetheart.
even though it's
There you
true.
go.
But out of respect for the office, I would never talk that way. But now I do talk that way. He's a bad guy. He weaponized some things, and he is the threat to democracy, not us. He is a threat. Thanks to Biden, we now have a new category of crime. It's called migrant crime. I actually added the word migrant. They call it migrant. You see when they come into New York and they start fistfights with the cops. I've never seen that. You know, I've seen guys, but there's a little respect. We have great people in New York, and these guys actually are fighting them. They're fighting them on the streets. These are tough people that came in. These are people that came in from prisons. They came in from mental institutions, from all over the world, from Africa. Yesterday, the Congo was well represented. People coming out of prison from the Congo have come into our country. People coming from, think of it, people coming from all over Asia, from the Middle East, from South America, from Yemen. They come from Yemen. We're bombing Yemen. You know, here we go again with the bombs. Bombs. I could solve it all with a phone call, just a phone call, like I did with Macron of France. He was going to put a tax on. My people said, we'll never be able to stop it. I gave him a little chance, just a quick run on the story. Emmanuel Macron, head of France. And I said, get it stopped. We're putting a big tax on our companies.
Guys, I got 5% left. This stream's gonna die in 10 minutes. So if I don't get the end of the speech, I'm sorry.
Macron, Emmanuel, how are you? How are you? Oh, no, thank you so much. I miss you so much. We must get together. They said, we will, but first we have to settle. You're putting a tax on our American companies, a very big tax. It's not fair to negotiators, but it was already passed. We're not able to do anything. I said, that's okay. Starting on Monday morning, every bottle of wine and champagne that comes into the United States is going to have a 100% tax or tariff.
Guys, I got 4% left. Hopefully you finish up. If not, you're not. The phone's gonna die. Sorry about that. If you want to donate so I could get a portable charger.
No way! And I said, here's the story. Call me back within 5 minutes. Let me know. He called me back in about 2 minutes. He said, we've decided not to place this tax on America. I did so much of that stuff, and I can't. It's so much. And I wish they were all recorded. I wish they were all recorded. I really do, because some of these conversations were classic. You would have seen what a great job we did. But you can do things that stupid people can't do. I mean, Biden doesn't think about, let's not bump. Look, number one, you're killing a lot of people. Both sides, you're killing a lot of people. Each bomb costs approximately $1 million. Every time you see bomb all over the place, they're hitting the middle of the sand, they're all over the place, they don't know what the hell. They have no idea what they're doing. It's $1 million every time you hear a noise. Bing, million, bing, 2 million, bing. It's such a disgrace. And it was that way when I came into office. Think of it. I got rid of ISIS 100%. Got rid of the greatest terrorists in the world, Soleimani and al-Baghdadi, the greatest terrorists in the world.
Sorry guys, phone's gonna die soon.
We were pulling out of Afghanistan, but we were pulling out with dignity and strength, and we were going to be out. They were there for 20 years, and the leader of the Taliban in Afghanistan, a very tough guy, Abdul, I had a conversation because he was killing a lot of our people with sniper fire. During the Obama administration, really a lot.